three of you guys, you pull one thing, you're out of this game. Now I run a clean game here. I have any trouble, I'll suspend you. I'm looking at a fucking song!
Hello and welcome to the Devils You Know Olympic Break Edition, a long awaited break, some might say. And of course, Bruce Driver behind me. We got Johnny Mac, we got Kenny D, the original three. So, lots going on in the Devils world. Jack Hughes getting I don't know if you call it demoted, but he seems to be the extra for the Olympic team, which is perfect because he doesn't even deserve to be on this team. I mean, let's be real. There's players that have been healthy. They're not at risk of easily being injured during the Olympics. You know, Jason Robertson obviously is the number one guy you think of. But there's plenty of players that could be there. But of course, as I've always said, the name Hughes overpowers stats, health, reality, anything like that. Now, when people say, "Hey, JJ, the Devils joined, the Devils, he hates the Hughes brothers, he's anti-Hughes, blah, blah, blah." No, actually, that's not true. I have multiple Jack Hughes jerseys. I have Luke Hughes jerseys, too. I've worked with them many times, especially recently over this past summer. Multiple times worked with them over the summer. And up until this summer, I have not criticized any of them. And I still won't criticize Quinn Hughes. I just won't because he doesn't deserve it. And the one thing he did right was not go where his brothers are. First thing he did. Okay. And I don't know how I should do this. All right. First thing he did right was stay away from. I know. He didn't come to the. He didn't want to come to the Devils. Now, there's multiple reasons. Well, maybe not multiple. Two at least. One, doesn't want to be caught in the. I call it the circus, as everyone knows. Doesn't want to be caught up in this media frenzy of, hey, here's Quinn Hughes. Oh, there's Luke, and there's the brothers. There's three brothers. Like, he actually seems annoyed whenever they just play each other, and it became the Hughes-a-palooza or the Hughes Bowl, as they call it. This. I could say it's fun for some fans, but that's like a real minority of fans where that's fun. Okay? In reality, Quinn Hughes, being the oldest and the smartest, said, he didn't say this out loud. I'm just saying, like, you know how I'm speaking English, okay? He said, if I went to a team and played with my two brothers, it's probably going to become about us. And when a team becomes about a player, a name of a player, a set of brothers who are paired, three of them, that's the end of the team. having these days, it's with social media, things are different, okay? I you could tell me till you're blue in the face about the Sedines, don't care. They played on the same line. They played the same position. They played with each other, right? You got Luke and Quinn Hughes who would never play together, and then Jack and Luke and Quinn who are on different positions, right? So this doesn't add up to like great chemistry between brothers. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It wouldn't. It first of all, yeah, we see Luke and Jack Hughes make some great plays together. Can't deny that. But that doesn't mean that those plays wouldn't be made by other players. It just, Simone Nemec is regarding getting rid of a defenseman. If they get rid of Simone Nemec over Luke Hughes, that that just tells you where the organization is at. They're looking for money, and they're looking for media rather than building a championship team. Now, I will talk about or address the Jack Hughes team player kind of thing going. Like, I can't even explain it because it's so much. But just think of it like this: Jack Hughes is sure he's an all-star player, extremely talented, definitely the most talented forward the Devils have on the roster, right? But he's not the most reliable. So you can't take a guy who's only going to be around for 60, maybe even 50 or less games a season and build your team around him. And then those 20 games that usually come like right in the middle of the season, like they just like this year, December, January, December, important times where you really need to get those wins, gone, not around. The Devils, you know what? They were 8 and how many games did Jack Hughes miss? I don't know. They were like 8-12. So they're basically at almost like 500. That's a 4-game, whatever. And if you look back at all the seasons with all the games Jack Hughes has missed, I think I have a screenshot of it right here. Let me read them to you. Okay. So in 2021, Hughes played a full season, 2021. That was the season he played 56 games because that's the only games that there were. So that 20-25 game, factor, he basically missed that anyway. His first season, when the Devils, when he wasn't in the lineup, his first season, 1920, the Devils went 2-5-1. So they got points in 3 games and they lost 5 games. Okay, I don't think that had anything to do with Jack Hughes. He didn't have the best season ever. 21-22, Jack Hughes. All right, so the Devils went 12-21. So 12, 14, and 7. So you could say 19 games they not 19. Yeah, 19 games they got points, 14 games they didn't. But think of how many games is you got 26. That's over 30 games he missed, okay? 22-23, the best season for the Devils. He only missed 4 games. The Devils went 2-1-1 without him. So they got points in 3, 2 wins, 1 loss. 23-24. Again, Jack Hughes misses exactly 20 games. The Devils go 7-12-1. So 8-12. So that was not last season. Oh, that's all. That's the same as this season, except for this season it's actually 8-12, not 8-11-1. 24-25, the Devils went 9-11, 9-10-1. So basically points in 10 and 10 losses. So 500. Again, they're not. It's not like they're going 1-15 out of 16 games that he's missing. Okay, so it's not outrageous that he could be replaced with a player that might have a little less talent but is a little stronger and can last 82 games and not have to give the Devils a huge hole to fill. Now, you also have to take into consideration when Jack Hughes, all right, now people are taking this out of context and taking these things the wrong way, also. Okay. When Jack Hughes returns, and now you got two sides. You got a side that I'm not on either side really, but a lot of people who follow me or don't follow me and don't like me, if you're probably listening and watching this, hello, nice to meet you. I'm a normal guy. There's nothing to hate about me, unfortunately. Um, anyway, let's forget about that. Uh, all right, sorry about that. I had a little. Well, one of my kids came home. Bye, Gino. You leaving? Now we gotta go close it. All right. Anyway, back to where I was. So, Jack Hughes goes out injured. Doesn't matter how, if it's a shoulder injury or if he slipped on some olive oil at Chicago Cut and his hand fell into broken glass. The olive oil thing I just made up, but the story is out there that it wasn't at the table with a knife or anything like that. It was that he. Damn it. This wind and weather is a little crazy today. It's opening windows and doors. It's crazy. Anyway, so irrelevant, but the story is a little odd that he was walking around a restaurant, like a 5-star restaurant, and there was broken glass on the floor, and he slipped and fell, and his hand went in the glass and sliced it so bad. I mean, that kind of doesn't really make sense to me. That's one of the few stories that I've heard from people who were there. So the story changes a lot. I'm not sure if people were told not to reveal the true story. I've talked to Frank the Tank, who wasn't there when that happened. I've talked to some players, some team, people around the team that I know. For those of you who are close with me, you know that I have many people inside the organization, so I get information. I know a few things, and all right, so let's get to the point here. There's two sides. There's Jack Hughes. If he's ready to play, he should play. And then there's my side, which is if he's injured and he's told it's probably best that you don't play right now until you're fully healed, I say don't play. And there's one of the reasons, and we saw this in Jack Hughes' return, scored in his first game. It looked like it was about to be good, but people didn't raise the alarm on, hey, wait a second, he's not playing his position. Now, when you take a team that's been practicing with each other, a lot of the times without both Hughes brothers, you might not hear a lot of it, but they don't always stay at practice the full practice. They're not always at team meetings. They're not always there watching video. They have other things going on, like, what's Luke Hughes' favorite sausage patty? Or we're going to make a Jack Hughes sandwich together with Jack Hughes himself. And he always looks so happy to do it, too. With all the money he makes, he should be smiling ear to ear. I don't care if it's Oh, he's got a great contract. I don't care. He's making millions of dollars. You better shut the fuck up and smile. That's it. That's all I got to say. Especially when you're underwhelming for an overall first overall pick, and all you've done is stay injured and not really lead a team. You're supposed to be leading. At this point in his career, he should be leading this team, and instead, players don't go to him. Okay, he wears an A. Why does Jack Hughes wear an A? Now, of course, I know most of you are going to say, "Oh, you're such a hater." No, I'm just talking about the truth, the reality. What makes Jack Hughes earn an A on his jersey? Because he puts up the most points, other than Brat, maybe, depending on how many games he plays. Is that why? I mean, he's not very much of a leader. He's a whiny complainer. Um, he doesn't talk to the media in a proper way that would, give me captain vibes. Nico does. And I don't think Nico should be the captain either. I think they gave him the C because the Devils got their first overall pick, and they were so excited. They just threw a C on the guy when young. It's happened a few times and it worked out in the past, like in Colorado and stuff. But that doesn't always work. They should have waited a little bit. Don't put so much pressure on the guy. But we're not here to talk about Schneeko, okay? And no, I did not name my dog Nico after Nico Heischer. He's named after my uncle. Gino and Nico are two of my uncles. Rest in peace to them. Anyway, so now let's talk about if, say, the Devils made a trade with the Dallas Stars. Now, I'm not saying this would ever happen. I'm not saying it's possible. I'm not saying players are available. This is total it's been something that people have been talking about. This is why I'm bringing it up. It's the Jason Robertson, Jack Hughes thing. Okay, I don't even know what to call it. But what I'm going to do is we're going to pull up just this season. Jason Robertson here has played 57 games. He's got 66 points, and he's a plus 20. Now, Jack's only played 36 games, so 21 less games, 36 points. That's 20 less points. So that's, it's on brand, right? A -6. That's pretty much Devils. So there's nothing crazy to see here. At least for me, there isn't. But when you want to talk about trading a center for a wing, this is where I look. You look at their history. Now they both started in the same year. Obviously, Robertson only played 3 games, got 1 assist. Jack played 61 games and had 21 points his first season. Underwhelming for the first overall pick coming in. Matthew Schaefer obviously is doing better than that in his first season. But Matthew Schaefer's a literal generational player, defenseman too, which is really hard to get. He's a Cale Makar. Quinn Hughes is below these guys. This is my opinion. You got Cale Makar and Matthew Schaefer. For now, Matthew Schaefer at least at the top, and then right below that you got Quinn Hughes. But let's see if the Devils made a trade, right? And let's say Jason Robertson was on the wing with Nico Heischer. Look at Jason Robertson's numbers, okay? From his first season, he had his first not even full season. He played 51 games in 21 because that was the shortened season, and he still had 45 points, while Jack Hughes played every game that season and had 31 points, 11 goals, and 20 assists for Jack Hughes in the shortened COVID season, and 17 goals and 28 assists for Jason Robertson. I mean, that's amazing. So if you're saying you wouldn't want to trade, let's say, And I have I'm not gonna say Dawson Mercer, but a lot of people put his name in there because people have uh, they're underrating Dawson Mercer. That's a big thing, but we're not going into that right now. Let's go to 21-22. 74 games to Jack Hughes' 49. So Jason Robertson, 41 goals, 38 assists, 79 points. Hughes, 26 goals, 30 assists, 56 points. Right? So now you go to 2022-23. This was the Devils' best season. This is the 40th anniversary season. And it's crazy because look, 82 games, and Jack Hughes played. He only missed a few games. Did he miss a few games? Yeah, he missed about 4 games. He came out with 99 points, but Jason Robertson still 109 points. 109 points. More goals by 3, but and more assists, obviously. 23-24. Now you go back to Jack Hughes playing only 62 games to the 82 that Jason Robertson played. 29 goals, 51 assists, 80 points. And for Jack, 27 goals, 47 assists, and 74 points. So, all right. You got 23-24 is not a huge difference in points there. Jason Robertson seems to have had a little bit of a downer that year. The next year, though, Robertson then played 82 games again, and Jack Hughes played 62 games again. That's 2 years in a row that he missed 20 games. Okay, at 82, he missed 20 games. Jack Hughes with the same amount of goals, 27, with a couple less assists, 43, 70. Yeah, 70 points. And 82 games for Jason Robertson, 35 goals, 45 assists, and 80 points. So in 24-25, 80 and 70, there's a 10-point difference. Now you see an uptick in Jack Hughes, right? Because he missed 20 games, but he also has the 80 points. But where did that really bring them? Nowhere. Now we look at this season. 66 points, 57 games. Every game, Jason Robertson hasn't missed a game. 32 goals, 34 assists. The Devils in need of points, in need of trying to get into a playoff spot. Jack Hughes has missed about 20 games, 21 games, whatever. 12 goals, 24 assists, 36 points. So 30 less points than Jason Robertson. Now you might say, okay, well if they both play 82 games, Jack Hughes might have more points, and he's also a center. Well, I went through all of this without making the point I was trying to make, which was that when Jack Hughes returns to the lineup and plays wing, that all of a sudden disperses the whole team into different mindsets, different positioning. Jack Hughes is now a winger. Everything changes. You put the whole team, you take a whole team and you push them back. So no matter how many points Jack Hughes puts up in that amount of time, because he went, however many games, he had like 1 goal and then took a long time to score the second goal. He had a bunch of assists in that, and including that great overtime, that kick pass from Bratt to Jack Hughes, backhand pass to Nemec. Great overtime goal. You can't deny it, right? But he's missing so many games. You cannot rely on you. Wait, no. You can't rely on Jack Hughes to be your guy when he's not playing almost half the season, most seasons, and you can't predict the future. But what this on the screen right now tells us is that in the future he will again probably miss games. He's not gonna go from all of this, from all these seasons, to all of a sudden playing 82, 84 games every year at full, full Jack Hughes talent without bulking himself up a little bit because he gets hurt very easily and seems to be not the smartest. I mean, if he sliced his hand on glass, if you're a guy, let's say you as the person listening or watching this, or me, if we were in the position of being a star player, right? A star. It doesn't matter if I'm making 11 million or 6 million. It's irrelevant. My name is huge in hockey, right? Your name is huge in hockey. Would you not feel a bit of responsibility to your fans, your fans first of all, then the team's fans, but it should be the opposite way. It should be the team's fans first, but that's not how Jack Hughes thinks. Not from what I know. You got Jack Hughes fans and then you got Devils fans. These should be the people who are your priority. So you should, and I would, and I'm sure you would, be careful when you're doing things like slipping and falling at a restaurant wouldn't be something that would happen because you would be more careful because of who you are. Now, if you're sorry to say, I love the guy, and I had a great conversation with him. I told him I'm not going to talk about what I told him, but if you're Luke Glendening and you come into the Devils, maybe you might jog across the restaurant and slip and fall. But when you have the weight of a team on your back and an organization that's really, sitting there biting their lip, praying you don't do something to hurt yourself, and then you go hurt yourself, not even at practice, not even working out, because we haven't really seen much of that, but at a restaurant after Simone Nemec, the guy who's been shit on because your brother's been getting the spotlight that he deserves, won a game for them in overtime and had a hat trick right after that game. Yes, Luke Hughes has taken Hamilton's power play one, which is fuck the Devils up. I don't care what you say about Hamilton. Luke Hughes was taking all that power play one time that Hamilton should have had and Nemec should have. I put up if you're watching this on X, because I'm probably going to post this on X, look right below. First, Simone Nemec's first goal. Amazing goal. He cuts in just like a Dougie Hamilton, but smaller. Love his play. I love Luke Hughes' play too. I just don't believe. How do I say this? You don't have you don't have the Sedins on your team. Okay, you have two brothers doing two separate things, both with problems. Now, in Vancouver, social media wasn't that huge of a thing, especially in the beginning years for the Sedins, right? But you didn't have all right, Henrik Sedin or Daniel Sedin, one of them's more injury prone, and this one keeps missing 20 games a season, and blah blah. And it just wasn't like that. And then you didn't have people on the internet, of course. You didn't have that internet fueling more people. And I'm not saying I'm not a part of that. It's what I'm here doing right as we speak. I'm fueling what some would say hate towards the Hughes brothers, which is the furthest thing from the truth. I have no hate towards anyone. I just love my New Jersey Devils, okay? And when you love your team, you don't want to see them start drowning. The Devils have, the way I say it is, the Devils have never had a rebuild. They had the Martin Brodeur era, which went through 3 or 4 eras of, you know, teams in front of him. But while Martin Brodeur was the goalie, it was just a restructure, and it worked for many, many years. And when right before Brodeur left is kind of right after the 2012 Stanley Cup. Devils went to the finals in 2012. Never forget, that wasn't that long ago. Devils were in the Stanley Cup finals not that long ago. Even though now, of course, it's been 13, 14 years. That's still not that long ago. How many other teams have been in the finals in that span of time? You know, like the Hurricanes haven't. Have they? No. The Rangers have. The Islanders haven't. Who else? I don't know. I don't need to go. I don't need to go through teams. Oh, you know, the funny thing is that both the Devils and the Rangers lost to the Kings. And also, I believe both the Devils and the Rangers should have beaten the Kings. The Devils series was a little better, actually. Even though the last game was a real shit show, the Devils at least didn't get it. Was a 4-2 series loss, not a 4-1 series loss. That's how I see the Devils one as being better. But they did have that Bernier penalty, which is really stupid because Gianta just got hit from behind right before Bernier did his hit, and nothing was called. 5-minute penalty, 3 goals go in. That was really it. But also game 1 and 2 went to overtime. Kopitar, blah, blah, blah. That's it. But going back to Jack Hughes, if doctors were telling him he wasn't ready to play and he said he was ready but he couldn't play his position, why would they allow him to come back? I know I'm going in circles here, but why would they allow him to come back, especially when it's known that he's not trying to miss going to Milan, so they could dress him up like a Build-A-Bear? I don't get it. That's about it. I'm just gonna leave everything I said in I guess you could call it a shit order. But as I've said before, tear it all down. Just tear it all down and start over. I'll talk to you soon.
We yearn for the days of Marty and Dano. We yearn for the days of big hits and trophies. We have old ladies stalking young men. We have a GM who don't use his pen. We have a GM that screws up the cap. Can't build a winner with this load of crap. The brothers are shit, this team isn't it. Quinn gave his brothers a name.